Chargers had a real chance to knock off the Patriots in that wild card round. They just came up a little short on a couple of red zone drives, weren't able to put the ball in the end zone. Let's start in the first quarter. Chargers here on the 10-yard line. They're going to run mesh rail route out of the backfield. They've got their 10 to 12-yard OTB here from this attached tight end. The wing tight end, he's running a shallow cross, setting the depth, looking to get a pick for this shallow cross coming from the field back to the boundary. You'll see they motion McConkey back, orbit him around, and he's swinging out here to the field. The quarterback is going to read this true progression read, starting 1 with the rail, 2 shallow cross, 3 the deep OTB, 4 the guy who's setting the depth for that shallow cross, and 5 finally McConkey as an outlet. Hard to get to your 5th guy in any progression. They're anticipating man coverage. This is a true man coverage beater right here. They do not get man. They get a version of quarters from the Patriots. So you'll see this backer here to the boundary, able to get over the top. You'd love for your tight ends here, your guy running the deep OTB, the guy setting the depth. You'd love for them to have an opportunity to disrupt him, to try to get him to come underneath them so that this rail route can get on top, hit for the home run in the end zone. They're not able to do that. He's lined up wide. No chance to get it done. He's got the rail taken care of. Secondly, when we're working to Quentin Johnson here on the shallow cross, you'll notice he doesn't have his eyes on the quarterback. He's trying to figure out what's going on out ahead of him. Is it man or zone? If it's man, as you clear that center, you want to get your eyes around, look at that quarterback, tell him, hey, I know it's man. I'm going to stay on the move, put the ball on me. He's sensing zone. He says, okay, I'm going to accelerate, try to get this zone defender to also accelerate, then I'm going to slam on the brakes and give you the opportunity to hit me with that ball. At that point, though, Herbert's been forced to escape the pocket. Against these zone looks, you'd like to typically get to your deep OTB. And you can picture if this was single high zone, you'd have a hook curl defender. This guy'd be settling right in that hole. And if it was too high zone, he might be getting matched by the Mike, or that Mike might be a Tampa runner, and hopefully he could get in front of him. But here in this quarters coverage, especially down low in the red zone, we've got one safety jumping right on top of it, and that backside safety with his guy crossing, he starts muddying up the picture for the quarterback as well. Take a quick look now. Guy running the shallow cross, setting the depth. He can't go behind this defender. He elects to go behind. You can see if you go behind this guy, you're not getting open, right? There's no way for the quarterback to throw you the ball. You must cross this guy's face, and if he's matching you like this, you're going to have to stay on the move. If you go behind, one, you're not getting open, and 2, it ends up clouding this picture again for the quarterback. That's a lot of bodies in a tight space. Does he really want to put that in the air? Let's go to the view from behind now. The strength of this Patriots defense, in my opinion, is these guys up front. They've got some serious power in that interior of their defensive line. Watch 94-97 here, a little TT game, tackle and tackle game, generating a lot of push. They've got Herbert moving off his spot, has to scramble. Great job here, 33, good effort play, good motor, clicks his heels, gets him down, keeps it a 4-yard gain on the scramble. That sets up 2nd and 6. Here you'll see they're going to run inside zone to the left. Get that back up there, inside zone to the left. They're going to read this defensive end. They're going to bring this receiver into the box to crack the linebacker. They're going to bluff at the end with the fullback, and he's going to continue on and get the corner blocked. End is going to collapse. Herbert is going to keep. This ball gets pushed flat out to the perimeter, ends up getting tackled, 2-yard gain right there. Let's take a look from behind, make it a little easier to see what happens. So on that inside zone, anytime you're running zone read, you prefer to run it to a defensive end and a shade. When there's a 3 technique here, there's less space that this guy has to close when this tackle blocks down. Easier for him to redirect, and he's a factor on this play, but not a huge one. It's not the end of the world. A ton of teams running zone read at a 3 technique. It happens. Targeting on this play, since the backer's being handled by the receiver, reading the end, fullback going around, you'd think this double team would like to go up to 14, probably go man on 94, out to 31, these two working to the corner. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter. That targeting doesn't shake out that way. This double team doesn't really have somebody to work to. They're leaving the corner unblocked. End of the day, as this becomes a keep, it does not matter. Probably an issue there with their targeting. They do a good job displacing the 3 technique, getting a little bit of movement right there. You'll see the fullback coming. Let's take a quick look at his kind of bluff to the inside. You see that subtle move with his left shoulder, just trying to really set the hook. Hey, you're a C-gap player here. You need to get into that C-gap. I'm trying to dig you out of it, and then I'm going around to get the corner. Receiver does not get this backer blocked. This backer comes downhill quick. You can see the receiver starts with his inside foot up, takes one full step up the field with his right foot, then tries to redirect down inside. He's worked just a little bit too far down the field there with that step. Sometimes you switch your feet. If you know you're going to the box, you might switch and put your outside foot up. There's a fine line, right? You don't want it to be a tell. You don't want the DB to look in there and be like, hey, he's cracking. So it's not the end of the world, keeps his inside foot up, but has to go and get on this block. Doesn't get him blocked. Because he doesn't get that block, now the fullback who's coming around the end sees that color in the hole and says, do I have to take him? We've got a problem. I need to get the play started. I got to get the most immediate man blocked right now. He's thinking about it, sees the receiver recovering, says, no, he's got his man. Unfortunately, they don't get that man, and that takes the fullback off his path. He's trying to redirect. Corner just a little bit too athletic in space for him. Unable to recover and get on the corner. Patriots again get that ball down outside of the goal line. 3rd and 3 on the 3 now. Concept we saw a couple times in the season this last year, and I'm not 100% sure, but you'll see here we get an outside stem by the slot receiver and just snaps it off and hooks up. And they got the outbreaker up top. And so what I believe teams are trying to do right here, and I only say this because I've seen it hit on this guy a couple of times, is that this guy is trying to spray, gain width on his release away from this linebacker, and the moment he gets in the end zone, they're going to drill that ball low and away. He'll catch it falling down. This guy can't recover in time. The corner is chewed up by the receiver pushing into him, and it's an easy touchdown. It's covered up right here. Backer gets good width. Herbert gets off, ends up having to scramble. Again, Patriots rally to the football, get him down short of the goal line. That sets up this 4th and 2 on the 2. Motion across, build the bunch, corner goes over. They know they've got man coverage. This is a man-beating route. They're going to run him across the field. It's a 2-man concept right here. Ladd McConkey going to try to work the outside shoulder of the man pressing him in this bunch. Wants to build a vertical wall. Keenan Allen going to sell down inside. The hope is the corner tries to work over the top when he realizes that this is not actually an in-breaking route, that Keenan Allen's come back out to the outside. It's too late, and he's stuck on this vertical wall being built by McConkey. Now there is no reaction right here from the corner. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. You can see if he's running the shallow cross, and let's just say for a quick second, Keenan Allen is just running a 1-step slant, and McConkey's building the vertical wall, and they're trying to keep him from getting over the top of it. He's got no chance, right? This is chewed up, inside corner chewed up, Allen all by himself because the corner stayed outside, press man, and McConkey build that wall, easy touchdown, right? Well, that's not the play. And sometimes you can ad-lib and get open, but for the most part, that's a recipe for absolute disaster because the quarterback doesn't know where you're going. You might make him panic. He ends up throwing the ball to the wrong team. Things get ugly fast. So right here, Allen sells down inside, corner does not chase. They've got themselves a problem. Let's take a look at the blitz now. This is what they call a Fonzi blitz. We've got, if you watched Happy Days back in the day, Arthur Fonzarelli, he smacks the jukebox. He goes, A, right? So A, the letter A, spelling A. Everybody in the A gap. So we've got an A gap blitzer here, an A gap blitzer here, and a safety running straight down the pipe as well. The old Fonzi blitz. Very, very difficult to pick up the Fonzi blitz. You kind of have to full turn the protection. You got to get big to get it stopped. We'll take a quick look at that, but it forces Herbert out of the pocket, 4th and 2, unable to convert. One quick look from behind on this blitz. You can see back is responsible for one of these backers. The safety is not a guy they're accounting for. They're here. He's got to pick one of these two backers. The running back is there, here, and he's chipping and getting out into the route. If they knew the Fonzi blitz was coming, what they'd probably want to do is say, hey, we're going to go into a 7-man pass pro, and we're going to full turn this thing to the right. And if they did that, tackle would have this defensive end. This guy would have to get big and take both these guys. This guy would have to get big, and he'd go half a man on 14, half a man on 21, step down into the gap on 53, step down into the gap on 97, right here on defensive end, and the back coming looking to help from inside out. You'd have a chance. They still have bodies. They got too many bodies from this gap over, right? Chargers got 1, 2, 3 guys, and they'd have a fourth, and here the Patriots have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So very, very difficult to stop the Fonzi blitz, which is probably why the Patriots are running it down here. Second quarter now, Chargers again on the 11-yard line. Fast motion from McConkey. He's going to sell the jet sweep. They're going to get a jab step from the back, and he's running duo to the offense's right. The jab step is to help things time up. They're going to bring this receiver across, and he's going to block MDM on this side. That jab step just helps this receiver get out ahead of the back, kind of ensures that they don't have any traffic on that action. Now, you'll see if they hadn't motioned McConkey, he'd be MDM blocking on this side. MDM, most dangerous man. Who's going to show up first, corner or safety? All they're doing by motioning him across and bringing him back at the snap is swapping responsibility between those two on the move. So right here, McConkey comes across, not the greatest sell on a jet sweep of all time, but backer shows up in the hole, 1-2 yard gain at best. This motion, now let's let the motion run. Okay, so right there at the snap, we're going to get a deuce, guard and tackle, double teaming up to 53, and you couldn't ask for better angles on duo if you tried. This guy is what, 2 whole gaps back from where that initial double team is going to happen. This is a great angle, great design to give themselves good angles into the Patriots' second level of their defense. They're going to smash center and guard on the backside up to 14, tackle out on 44, tight end responsible for the defensive end on duo, and wrapping around for the most dangerous man. Now 90 right here, extremely productive rep. He keeps that double team from getting to 53, allows him to flow over the top, untouched directly into the hole. Really good job by 90 killing that play. Second and long now for the Chargers. Going to get McConkey on the crossing route, boundary to the field. Crossing route over the top of him, coming back to the boundary, in cut, trailing that. Tight end going to chip the defensive end to slow down the rush and head to the flat, back, selling the play action, checking down over the ball. Crossing routes down here tend to be more man-beating type routes than zone-beating routes, but worst case scenario, they get zone. They've got a high-low with an in-cut trailing the play here and a back they can check it down to over the ball. So they get zone coverage. I'm going to bring it back just a little bit. There's a lot of communication taking place here. You'll see as Keenan Allen leaves this bunch across the formation, a lot of communication between this corner and safety, and then as he's getting set, a lot of communication between those two linebackers. What I believe has happened, I think in the huddle they called 3 stretch. Some teams will call it rip or Liz match, but a version of cover 3 that has some man principles with it. So right here, when they stay in stretch, which is what I think they've decided to do, this safety is responsible for number 2 running vertical. So you count your receivers from outside in, 1, 2. If 2 goes vertical, he has to take him in man coverage down the field. And typically this comes from extended splits where the receiver split out wider, and that puts the corner in inside leverage man. He has to take away the inside because he has no help on this side of the field. His only help is the sideline out to the boundary. But with this close split, a lot of discussion, what exactly are we going to do? You'll see at the snap. Lad McConkey here stems down inside, pushes vertical. Safety says, okay, he's become the new number 2. He's my guy because I'm responsible for 2 vertical. Cuts him off. Good job by the safety if that's what he's supposed to be doing right there. All right. Now the problem with Rip or Liz match from this close split is that when he takes him away, now it's okay, who's going to guard this guy in the flat? And the backer will only come to the flat if number 3 takes him out there. So again, if you're counting from outside in, it's 1, 2, and 3. Well, that running back on the play action fake, he's selling and going over the ball. Nothing to take him out to the flat. So the corner, who's not typically a flat player in this match coverage, he ends up laddering up right here, which should, in theory, leave this guy wide open or at the very least create a high-low opportunity on the corner here on this boundary side. But this defensive end, and this is where I think the bust is coming. The defensive end does not rush. And the reason I think he's busting is because this guy is an interior pass rusher. He starts in the B gap, goes to the A gap. If this guy doesn't rush, they have no contained player on this right side. And never in my life have I seen a defense not have a contained player or intentionally not have a contained player in a pass rush. So when he drops out and stays on this tight end for whatever reason, he takes away that guy in the flat. Herbert, yes, is able to scramble out, but they don't have a legitimate high-low build. Defense rallies the football. Herbert's got to dink it out there. Instead of getting what they wanted, they end up kind of having to settle for just a couple yard gain, salvaging a weird situation. So the caveat to all that is I do not coach for the New England Patriots. There's a decent chance I have no clue what I'm talking about. That might be 100% intentional. We may never know. If anybody's got anybody's phone number with the Patriots, give them a call. That sets up 3rd and 2 here on the 3-yard line. Chargers going to run power to the right, going to get stuffed in the hole, nothing doing, going to have to settle for the field goal attempt. Let's take a look at the back angle on this one. So the Chargers are in 11 personnel. They've got 3 receivers in the game, 2 here to the right you can't see, and 1 tight end. Sub offense. They've subbed a fullback out there in 11. The Patriots are in base defense. 1, 2, 3 linebackers in the game, 4 defensive linemen. Typically base defense played against base offense, 21 personnel or 12 personnel, either a fullback and tight end in the game or 2 tight ends. So when you get this base versus sub look, you can end up with mismatches that don't favor the offense because a receiver is going to have to block a body type that he's not used to blocking. He's used to blocking corners and safeties. Here it's going to end up being a linebacker he's got to deal with. This power that they're running to the right, they've got their puller, tackle going to step down, chuck back out. Against this bare front, center is back, guard is down, and running a track here to 14. So they've got a tray block tracking to 14. They're going to pull, and they're going to pull for number 48, and the receiver is responsible for 51, because 51 in this base defense is now the strong safety spot. If this was sub defense, this would be a linebacker right here, 4 defensive linemen. We know there's always 4 linemen in the game, so the receiver would have to say, okay, that's the safety, that's my guy. But he's got a serious problem on his hands because he's got number 48 standing directly in the way. How could they mitigate this problem? Well, if this tight end was on the line of scrimmage, they could potentially motion down. He could insert. It would give him a better line to get to this guy. But the tough part on these insert blocks is this guy can see the football. He knows where it is. He's a bigger body. He's used to shock and shed as this guy would insert downhill. This is not a fullback. This is a receiver. As he inserts downhill, he might get the knocked out of him. Back are going to throw him opposite where that football is and go make the tackle. Neither here nor there, though. Tight end is off the line of scrimmage. Receiver says, how in the world am I going to get to my guy? Puts hands on this linebacker spot that's on the line of scrimmage, or the end man on the line, on his way to his. The guard, as he's pulling, he sees hands on the guy he was pulling for, says, oh, okay, the receiver's blocking his. Since he's blocking my guy, I'll go block his. Receiver comes off. Guards are already committed to the man in the hole. We got a problem on our hands. Everybody's showing up for the Patriots, keeping them out of the end zone. Chargers hit the field goal, but unfortunately for them, that's the first and last of the scoring they're going to do in this game. Patriots win.